Hello, I'm Estelle Kelly and I am a retirement life coach. Firstly, I'd like to thank Cardinia Shire for giving me this opportunity to share with you today. There are many people of retirement age in the Cardinia Shire, and I'm hoping that you will find this information useful. The information will comprise two components: resources considered necessary for a successful retirement, and secondly, my 7 core principles that I work to. So, retirement. Now, we all dream about retirement and of the freedom and flexibility that it can bring. And for most people, that's exactly what it is. But it can also be a challenge. Because would you consider retirement is numbered in the top 10 of life events on a stress scale? Now, Ray and Holm have this stress scale, and it involves those normal life events like death, divorce, injury, going to jail, getting married, reconciling a marriage, and retirement is number 10 on their stress scale for life events. I was a bit surprised at that. But let's have a look and see what we need to enjoy a successful retirement. Now, researchers have found that there are 6 resources considered necessary for a successful retirement. Firstly, we need an income during retirement. That's pretty basic, isn't it? Yeah, we don't have to be wealthy. We just need to have sufficient money to care for ourselves and our family. And our retirement can be meaningful without having pots of money. The second resource considered a requirement for a successful retirement is our health, our physical health, which is looking after our bodies, eating well, exercising, not too much alcohol, try not to smoke, all those things. We've heard those messages over and over, but we mustn't forget our mental health. Now, our mental health is our perception of ourselves, those stories that we tell ourselves that go around and around inside our head. They can get into a bit of a loop sometimes and can lead to anxiety and depression. And we're not going to enjoy our retirement if that's how we're feeling and if that's how we view life. So finances and health, physical and mental, are the top 2 most important resources. Following that is our social life. We need to have a social life, and this is especially important for our mental health. We need to stay connected to people, real people. And psychologists tell us that we have the capacity for 5 important and trusted people in our lives. And usually it's your partner or your spouse, a child or a family member. And then we go beyond the family outside. They're there. Now, can you hold up your hand and can you name on each finger a person that you would trust with to share your dilemmas with? So we need to stay connected to people and create a social life for ourselves. Your emotions. Now, this is how we feel about ourselves and our sense of worth. Now, we all want to feel loved and nurtured and cared for in this life. It doesn't always happen for everybody. And when those life events come in against us, those unexpected things like redundancy or a divorce or illness, how do we pick ourselves up and get going again? How do we respond? Now, we need to express those emotions because they're just a part of us. It's just who we are. But it's learning how to express them in a healthy way that's going to help us to pick up and get on again. Now, your cognitive ability, that is your ability to be able to make good decisions and to think clearly. That's pretty important. And in retirement, you might like to learn some new skills, things that you've been looking forward to indulging in for decades possibly. And your level of motivation. So are you a person who gives up easily if there's an issue? Or are you like the dog with the bone and you persevere and persevere until you achieve success? So how adaptable are you? And how realistic are the goals that you set for yourself? That's all tied up in your levels of motivation. So they're the 6 resources considered that we need for a successful retirement. Now, we don't all have those and get 10 out of 10 for each one of those. So let's have a look and see what we could possibly do about that so that we can enjoy our retirement. Now, I've got 7 core principles that I work to when we are faced with making changes in our life. And those 7 core principles are that difficult decisions can be made with clarity. It is possible. And the second principle is, let's seek some resources that are not to do with money, and we'll be surprised at what we find around us. Thirdly, we might like to create a wish list of achievements and have that acknowledged by others. And most importantly, fourthly, we need to clarify what we really want out of retirement. Fifthly, let's approach the challenges calmly and with an open mind. And sixthly, would you believe that change can be exciting if we go one small step at a time? And the 7th core principle is that we can enhance our life by identifying and dealing with things that no longer support us. So, to enhance your current situation, select which of these you believe might be most useful to you and which might make your retirement one with purpose and meaning. So, you will find more information on these 7 core principles on my blog at my website, retirementlife.coach. I also have for you some no-cost podcast episodes called Desire to Retire, and you can also access them at retirementlife.coach. Just click on the podcast tab and submit your email address for the special 3-part podcast series. And there's some other tools as they're waiting for you as well. So thank you indeed for giving me the opportunity to share with you today. And I know that it is possible to have a meaningful retirement, one that gives you purpose for your life. Thank you.